And I'm trying to set the example for my girls as well. Like they have to have boundaries, they have to have structure, they have to take care of themselves first because somebody is always going to need something of you.
Uh-huh.
Your children are going to require a lot. Your partner is going to require something. Your household is going to need something. But you have to take care of you first.
Greetings and welcome to the Elevated Flo Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Flo, aka the Black Rowing Queen. The Elevated Flo Podcast spotlights elite and everyday female athletes, mostly over 40, sharing how they elevate their game and their flow in sports, wellness, work, and life. These are powerful stories of strength, resilience, wisdom, and inspiration to help women stay active, age strong, and pass the torch to the next generation. If you have ever had to balance caring for others while working and trying to hold on to your own health, wellness, and identity, this conversation is really going to hit home for you. Please help me welcome my special guest, Ms. Rodrika Lacy, to the Elevated Flo Podcast. Welcome. How are you
Hello,
today?
everyone. I am doing well. Doing well.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, let me give you a formal introduction. Rodrika Lacy is a social work professional with over 20 years of experience in case management, serving individuals and families with compassion, consistency, and care. A proud graduate of Fisk University in Nashville, Tennessee, where she earned her Bachelor's of Arts in Psychology, Rodrika has spent her career advocating for others while navigating many roles she holds in her own life. She is a wife, mother, sister, daughter, and former basketball player who understands firsthand the importance of discipline, teamwork, and resilience on and off the court. In this season, Rodrika serves as a caregiver for multiple family members, a role that requires strength, sacrifice, and unwavering commitment. Yet through it all, she remains grounded in her belief that maintaining her own health through fitness and proper nutrition is essential, not just for herself, but for those who depend on her. Rodrika's story is one of service, endurance, and intentional self-care. She represents the everyday woman who continues to show up, pour into others, and still finds ways to prioritize her own well-being. Welcome, Miss Rodrika Lacy.
Thank you. You got all of that out of what I sent you? Beautiful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Put that word art into it.
Yes, I
Yes.
love it.
All right. So, man, where do we start? Well, obviously, we know each other from Fisk University.
Almost 30 years. My new best friend.
It's so funny because we were not friends at Fisk.
No, we were not.
You were friends with my roommate.
Roommate.
So you were in my room a lot, but we weren't friends. That's funny. But anyway, so man, you are a perfect example of the women that I work with in terms of working a corporate job, if you will, and also trying to maintain your own fitness, wellness, health, and then having to pivot and become a caregiver to aging parents. And I think a lot of us from our generation are now in that situation. But before we talk about that, take us back to before you got to Fisk, before you went to Fisk.
Ooh.
Were you playing basketball in high school?
Started playing basketball in the 9th grade.
Okay.
I don't even want to say the year. But yes, I started playing in high school and I played all throughout high school and college. All throughout
Right.
high school and college. And those were my early years of athleticism.
Okay. So before, why Fisk? Did you want to, yes, you said you played all throughout your 4 years at Fisk. What made you choose Fisk and play basketball there? Did you ever have a desire to go like to another school and possibly get recruited to another school to play sports?
Yes. And it's funny because I always dreamed of going to like UCLA. Growing up, I wanted to go to California where I eventually ended up. But Yeah, I wanted to go to a big school. I wanted to play basketball. However, during my sophomore year, there were some coaching changes, and the coach who had groomed me to play at the high school, she ended up leaving. A younger coach came in who didn't know the ins and outs of like getting other schools to look at the players. It was
Mm,
strictly about playing.
mm-hmm,
And I think that's where it went downhill for my basketball career as far as going to a good school.
mm,
I mean, a big school to
mm-hmm.
actually play on scholarship.
Okay. Okay. So what was it like for you playing at Fisk?
Those were some good times, great times.
Okay.
Being able to, Fisk is a smaller school. And at that time, I think we had less than 1,000 students,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a Division III school. So sports, athletics was not a top priority. So we didn't get all the funding that most of the major schools got in the area, like Tennessee State, Vanderbilt, so on and so forth. But we were still able to travel to smaller schools
Mm-hmm.
and play. We played Spelman, we played Lane College, we played Niles College, different schools that was in our division.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had a great time because I got to see more of the country that I had never seen before and go to other places and meet different people. I enjoyed myself immensely, maybe a little
Awesome.
bit too much.
Really? So how do you feel like that experience playing sports in college shaped you as a woman?
It definitely gave me a sense of leadership, a sense of being a team player, that it wasn't all about me, that we're working in this life together and we need
Mm.
each other. That support, the encouragement, the accolades, everything. It helped me become who I am today.
How have you seen some of those things that you learned as an athlete show up in life?
Definitely in the workplace.
Mm.
Definitely in the workplace. When I'm working with my families, encouraging them along the way,
Mm.
and taking criticism from them about how I show up,
Mm.
and present myself to them. Sometimes we need that constructive criticism and to cause us to look inward
Mhm.
and reflect on how people view us when we show up in this world.
Okay. So being that Fisk was a Division III school, did you ever have hopes and dreams of playing basketball professionally?
No, because I'm not quite sure when the WNBA started,
Right, it
but
was
it
before that, but right.
no,
I mean
it was
after. I mean
after.
after. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And I never saw myself going overseas to play or anything like that. It
Okay.
was, I'm gonna make it through college and that's it, that's all.
Okay.
And probably like play recreationally, but I never thought to play professionally in Europe or Spain.
So did you know
Like
that those opportunities were available then?
I did, but
Okay.
being that I was at a small school and the coaching staff was magnificent, but they didn't have those type of connections. And the
Mm.
training, I would have had to like really like pursue that on my own after I finished
Okay. Okay. So you got your degree in psychology. What were your aspirations for after you finished college?
fitness. It's funny that you asked that question because I didn't know what I was going to do with that degree. I
Okay.
didn't know I was going to move forward after I finished school. I had I hadn't really given it much thought. I didn't do any internships. I didn't make those connections professionally. What I did know is that I had a mouth to feed because I
Mm.
became a mother my last year in college. And
I didn't realize that.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
I became a mother my last semester in college, and that pushed me forward in a
Mm.
major way. It made me buckle down, take my studies more serious, um, because I was bringing life into this world
Right.
and I needed to be able to provide for that life. So I knew I was coming back home. Me and my child, we were coming back home to Miami and I was going to make it happen, whatever the case may be. It
Mm-hmm.
just so happens that I could not find work. I could not, the local social services, they told me I didn't have any experience. Come back in a year after I got some type of experience under my belt.
I never
So
understood that concept. I was like, how do you get an experience if no one gives you a chance? But yeah.
exactly. So this conversation is causing me to reflect over the past years, like in a major way that I haven't done so in a very long time. People always ask me, how did I get to California? How did I get here?
Right.
And, I give them snippets, but you're going all the way back. Oh, I was working at like some type of customer service job and I was frustrated. I was irritated because you know, this was one of like my second job ever in life. And I didn't like the way I was being treated. So one Sunday I took the local newspaper to work and I started circling. And I came across an ad for a position in LA County as a social worker.
In Florida, huh? Wow.
They were recruiting all across the country at that time. And so they even came to Miami to interview me.
Really?
I got the job on the spot. And I know I was not good in that interview because I had no clue as to what social work was. A
Mm-hmm.
protective services was. I had lived my life in a bubble. I hate to say that, but I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
about foster care, about anything. So I was not prepared for that interview. But they helped me along the way and I got the job. Look at God.
Right. So it gave you the opportunity to go to Los Angeles
Yeah. How did I get there?
with your child. I know you didn't call
Professionally.
it out because, huh?
Professionally. What did I see myself doing professionally after school? I didn't see myself doing much of anything. Just knew I needed a job
Right.
and I had a degree to fall back on because that was a major thing at that time.
Right.
I had always been told, go to college, you get your degree, find a good government job, and you work that job to the day of retirement.
Hmm. What do you think about that?
I have so many thoughts about that
Say
because
that again?
I have so many thoughts about that because I'm a person who seeks freedom over any and everything. And social work in Los Angeles County gave me an opportunity to be free to a certain extent
Interesting.
because I had small children.
Mm-hmm.
My children grew up while I worked in LA County. And that freedom allowed me to go to their parent-teacher conferences during the day, attend different programs they had at school. I never missed my children's basketball games, dance recitals, because I had that freedom within the system that I worked in.
Okay.
So I was able to plan my day and go on and get everything done within that time frame.
Now, was that freedom as a result of being in the field?
Yes. Being in the field, seeing families, seeing kids, and I would just, carve out which hours for my lunch break
Mm-hmm.
on my own. Go see my kids, then go see my kids,
Mm-hmm.
my own kids.
Right. Okay. So you worked for LA County for like what, 20 years?
Almost 20 years. Yeah.
Almost 20 years. And I was always impressed with your longevity there because I worked in Los Angeles in the same system, but in the private sector with foster care and adoptions and for a nonprofit. And I did that for like 11 years. And I just never understood because in the private sector, we had smaller caseloads. And I always talked about the stress and everything that I heard the county social workers that I partnered with or worked with talk about the stress that they experience in the county. And I just always was impressed by the fact that you could be there for that long.
Mhm.
So What was it like actually working in the office, in the environment? Did you feel like in that corporate structure, I know it was government, that they prioritize your health and wellness and things of that nature?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. I saw several people get stressed out. I saw several people pass away during that time. I witnessed one of my closest friends have a stroke at her desk.
Wow.
Yeah. And we always knew that if anything ever happened to us health-wise, that they would sit somebody else in our desk and they would move on. They might send me flowers. They might send a card. They might collect funds, you know, to help me out. But there was no loyalty
Mm.
to the workers who were on the ground doing the work, actual work, meeting with the families and managing the whole thing.
What do you think that corporations and entities such as, the government, especially working with children? I mean, it's like we're trying to take care of the children, and we are in essence caregivers in that respect. What can they do better about making health, wellness, and, you know, self-care a priority and not a nice perk?
We'll first start with a reduction in the caseload sizes, which by the over the 20 years, I did see it go down significantly. So where I might have had 35, close to 40 children on my caseload, because the case count is by child,
Mm-hmm.
not by mother, where I saw it go down significantly. And those that came before me, they used to count it by mother. So
Mm.
they could have close to 100 kids on their caseload. So it changed
That's
a
what
lot
I
over the
heard.
years.
Right.
So a reduction in the caseload, um, prioritizing like having an assistant, at least someone who can assist in each unit, because
Mm.
not only were we responsible for visiting, meeting with the children every month to ensure while they were in placement or while they were still in the home, we had to meet with the parents. We had to facilitate visitation between the parents and the children if they were in out-of-home care, um, write court reports. The social worker was solely responsible for that,
Mm-hmm.
for those tasks. And we did not have a lot of support from other entities. And it just so happens that I just left a different county that incorporated that support system
Mm.
where they had someone in each unit that would assist with visitation, placement, getting documents together to lighten the load and the stress that the worker had.
Right. That's good. And that was Northern California, right?
That was in Northern California.
One of the things that I talk about is how corporations need to focus on wellness and health and self-care of women, especially because a lot of times the women that are working are mothers or caregivers, and they have all these roles. They are wives. And it's not to say that men aren't also husbands and fathers, but for the way that our society is set up, the mothers usually are the primary caregiver,
There,
even when they're married. So I talk about how some of the systems that can be put in place within corporations that give that kind of support that you're talking about. Now, being that a lot of women that are in the workplace are former athletes, 95% in C-suite positions and managerial positions played a sport. And when you're an athlete, you get a lot of that coaching, the stuff that you talked about, the coaching, the direction, the encouragement, the accolades, all of those things. And if corporations would put those things in place for women within the workplace, I think that they could have better outcomes when it comes to performance and retention and absenteeism, because even with taking off of work for you were fortunate enough to be able to go to your children's events and programs and everything. But a lot of times, that's not in place for women. Thank goodness we have FMLA, and people could take off when they have a baby and things of that nature. But just on a day-to-day basis, there are a lot of women that miss those things because they are not built into the system that they
Mhm.
have. And so a lot of times they are experiencing stress, and that's really unfortunate that, you had to witness someone having a stroke. And a lot of that has to do with women not feeling like they have the support they need to take off of work. And then if you don't have the time built up and you take off, then people are fearful that they may lose their job or get a write up or any of that. So I think it's really important that corporations try to focus on really taking care of the person. And I believe that they will get better performance outcomes if they're not just looking at their performance on the job and really trying to take care of that whole person. If you're leading high performers and wondering why they burn out, disengage, or plateau, this is for you. Former athletes and high achievers don't struggle because they lack drive or discipline. They struggle because the supportive systems that once supported them and fueled their growth are gone. I partner with organizations that want more than output. They want thriving leaders, retention, and sustainable performance. Because true wellness and growth aren't perks, they're fundamental. If you're ready to build a culture that supports the whole person at work and beyond, let's talk. Click the link in the description to explore how we can partner to prioritize workplace wellness. Now let's get back to the episode.
Yeah, that's been said, but it would be ideal if corporations were into people like that. But what I've found that whether it's in private sector or government, it's about profit. And that's that's the saddest part about it. So I look at the generation that came after me and I see how they prioritize their health, their sanity, their peace of mind. And,
But they
initially
don't want to work.
that's what we thought.
Mm-hmm.
They will work. However, they pick and choose what conditions they're going to work under.
Absolutely.
Whereas I saw the longevity because I had that mouth to feed. A lot of these Gen Zers are coming out of school with maybe a car note, maybe insurance, and that's a maybe because they Uber everywhere, and they might have their rent to pay, or they might not because most of them are still living at home. So what I'm saying is that their priority, I've shifted. I believe in rest.
No, I
Rest.
said that
And
jokingly that they don't want to work, but what it is really that they have not bought into the narrative that we were fed, that you go to work.
no,
Go to college, get a degree, go to work and work at that same job. Like you said, get a good old government job or whatever corporate job and work until you retire. So that's the part that I'm saying that they really don't, they haven't bought into that. So yes, they are thinking about, just as consumers are thinking more about who they will buy things from, these Gen Zers are really looking at the work conditions a lot differently than we were. We were just happy to get a job,
get a job. Yeah.
Right. So they're
And
picking
I
and
applaud
choosing
them
who
for
to work.
that. And I'm trying to take some tips from them as I move forward in life. It's been a tough road living on the West Coast with all of my family here on the East Coast. And as these family members have aged, I had to drop everything to come back and care for them because there was no one else who was in a position as I was to be able to do it. But as I'm doing that, I'm also looking at how entrepreneurially I can continue to move about the cabin while caring for my elders without being stuck in a quote unquote 9 to 5 job.
So how has that pivot been for you? Because not only did you leave California, you came to Texas for a little while and then back to California. And then you're like, okay, now I'm going to Texas again. I think I'm going to live there, but no, I'm going to go to Florida. What has that transition been like? And have you completely abandoned your job in California?
When is this going to air?
Well, I wouldn't say abandoned, but transitioned, or
I think I'm
funny.
transitioning from California. Being in Northern California was quite different than being in LA County. The weather, first of all, was on two total opposite ends of the spectrum. Where LA County was provided weather that was similar to what I grew up in the tropical environment. Northern California I needed a whole new wardrobe, long johns, boots, winter coats,
And people
and
think
for
all
the
of California is just hot and nice, and
mm-mm,
I used to think
no,
that before I went to college and then went to visit Northern California. I was like, "Oh, I thought it was like LA." Nope.
yeah, no.
Wa
So, I did a lot of traveling back and forth because I missed home so much. I missed being close to my family. And with my children being adults now, they weren't near me. They chose to live in Texas. And oh my gosh, I'm here all by myself. There were lots there were a lot of things to consider.
Mhm.
And I got lonely.
Mm.
Even though I made friends there, but establishing friendships as an adult is a little more difficult because friend groups are already established and trying to come into those spaces where people are possessive of their friends. And,
Right.
it was difficult. It was challenging. I'm an optimist and I'm resilient.
Very much
And,
so.
and so I just take everything with a grain of salt and keep moving forward.
What has it been like prioritizing your health and your wellness while being a caregiver, aside from, making sure that you go work out every day?
Well, that's the easy part.
Mm.
That was the easy part because it's not like I just started training. This is something that has been a 20 plus year progression because I was a mother, because I had responsibility that started at 7 a.m., getting the kids up, dressed, breakfast to school. My workouts always started at 5, 6 a.m. So I've been conditioned to take care of me first
Mm.
so I can be there to take care of everyone else.
That's awesome. I think as Black women, so many times, at least for our parents, I've heard so many women talk about how they had to put themselves, their dreams, aspirations on the back burner once they had children and kind of, help their kids get to
Mm,
where they wanted to be in life. And then once they became empty nesters or once their children got a little older, then they could possibly focus on their dreams. So I'm glad that you didn't buy into that one
yeah.
and you saw the importance of taking care of
I,
yourself so that you could take
and
care of others.
I am so grateful to LA County, and we had this weight loss challenge.
Mm.
My second daughter was 1 at the time we had this weight loss challenge, and I noticed the weight. Come on. Now, mind you, I had been an athlete all of my life. I've been out of school for 5 years. I've had 2 children. And the weight is there. It's not bad, but I didn't want it to get out of control. So he had this weight loss challenge, and at work, whoever lost the most amount of weight in 30 days would be the winner of the $1,000 pot. Everybody put in $100. I'm in the gym every morning on the treadmill, running 5 days a week, focusing on my diet. Now, mind you, I had never really done strength training.
Mm.
So all I'm doing at this time is cardio
Mm.
and I had a meal plan that reduced my calories to like 1,200 calories per day. And I lost 20 pounds
Okay.
over that 30 days. I'm on the treadmill running 3 at 6.0 for 45 minutes. I lost the 20 pounds. But then there was another person who weighed more than me who probably took a water pill every week and she beat me. I lost
Mm.
that contest by like point 0.7 ounces.
What?
It was super close. I lost. And when I lost, I said, you know what? I didn't put in all this hard work for nothing. I'm going to continue to try.
Mm.
So I started going to this gym in LA called Black Diamond, right
Mm.
on Crenshaw.
Old school, clanky
Go.
metal weights and stuff. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And a personal trainer discovered me, or I discovered that personal trainer, and we were connected for the next couple of years.
Mm.
When I say she got me into shape, I was lean. I had like very little body fat. I had no breath whatsoever. But through that experience, that kept me on the course for where
Mm.
I am today. And
Interesting.
so now my motto to any young person is take care of yourself while you're young because you don't want to wait until you're aging, you're having all kind of body ailments like I have now, but you don't want to get to that point. And no, it's been, my second daughter is 24, soon to be 25. So it's been about 24 years since I got this going.
What have
Even
you
though,
go ahead?
I was an athlete prior to that. But one thing that was key about me being an athlete is that I had this PE teacher in high school. Her name was Miss Abalati. I will never forget a story that she told. By the time I was in high school, she was heavyset, but she said she played volleyball, softball all through high school, all through college, and she put on the weight after she stopped playing.
Mm,
So she advised, that was a story that stuck with me, all that I remember 10 years later, that I never want that weight to just set in and
mm,
take over my body, because our bodies are not meant to carry excess weight.
right, right, right.
For a period of time during pregnancy, it's built for that. But yeah, no, I don't believe it in it. And my family members would always tease me, coming back home to the South, where thicker type women, quote unquote, being big boned was natural. And I rejected those theories. Said no.
Right,
And so
right.
I pushed back. I pushed back. So now, with me being the weight I am now, they're like, "Oh, you look so good." There was a time they thought, I might have been doing some unscrupulous things, engaging in some
To keep
other
the
type
weight
of
off.
activity. Yeah. And I'm like, no, this is like strength training, cardio, a commitment to eating right. Even though, we fall off sometimes. But it's been pretty consistent over the past 24 years.
Now, what would you say is the difference in how you feel and how your body looks since you start strength training? Because when you did that weight loss challenge, you were just running.
Hmm. And I didn't see a shift in my body size. Yes,
Mm,
the scale said I lost 20 pounds, but I did not look like I lost 20 pounds. My
mm,
clothes still fit the same. There was no difference. But once I started strength training, I went from like a size 14 to a size 8/10, more so on the 10 side, but I could fit some 8. So my body looked completely different. And I loved it. I
you said
loved it.
you love it.
Yeah, I loved it at that time. I was
Right.
much younger then. It was a big difference. So I said that, she might have beaten me with the scale, but she's not gonna beat me in life. And
Mm,
in this strength training thing, I looked amazing at that time. I still do look amazing, I think, for a woman of my mature age.
I love it. So, okay, so it is Women's History Month, right? And also March Madness.
Mhm.
Do you watch the basketball games and are you into that or no? No?
Not at
Okay.
all.
Okay. I'm going to say this, and we'll leave this for the Patreon community. I was reading something today about Women's History Month, and it was a newsletter from the White House. And like I said, I'll wait until the Patreon community for us to discuss it further. How do you think things have changed for women? And as caregivers, what are some things how do you navigate the role of a caregiver, the assumption that we are supposed to be the caregivers? And I know you said, like, for your family, there was no one else that was in the position to, but do you think that there has been a shift or what a difference is in focusing on the role of the women as caregivers and supporting their mental health and all of the other roles and responsibilities that they have? Do you think that people are starting to understand, like, wow, women really have a lot of responsibilities and roles that they're playing as wife, as caregiver, and we need to really help them navigate this and focus on taking care of them and their mental health and their physical health so that they can feel supported and be supported in the roles and responsibilities they have as women?
I think we are our biggest advocates.
Yeah.
And we, as women, need to teach people how to treat us.
Mm,
We need to demand, request that support from our partners and those around us, even the
right.
children, because the expectation is for us to do so much. I was just thinking about this Sunday. I am something to everybody around me.
Mm,
I give a lot of may not look like it to some people, but I know that at the end of the day, I am. And when I retire to rest, I want to not be disturbed. So I have to demand that I not be disturbed. I set an alarm. I set an alarm for the time that I need to start getting ready for bed. I give
mm,
myself 2 hours, wash my face, straighten up, lay my workout clothes out for the next morning, prepare my protein shakes for the next morning, and I get in bed. I try to be in bed by 10, no later than 10:30, because I have early morning.
mm-hmm.
And in order for me to be there for you tomorrow, I need you to give me this time, this space. So we have to be our biggest asset and request that.
How have people responded to you actually setting those boundaries?
My mother doesn't respond to those.
She what?
My mother doesn't respond to it. My aunt and uncle, my aunt and uncle, they know once I go to bed because I asked, is there anything else you need? Because they were staying here with us while their home was being renovated. So I would ask, they would say no, I would go on to bed. My mother, as much as I say when I'm asleep, please don't wake me up, she continues to do so. She'll come in my room, turn on the light, ask me a question that can wait until tomorrow, another day. But it's been 6 weeks since I've been here, and
Mm,
she's starting to come around.
okay.
She still does little stuff, but she's starting to come around.
Mama being mama, mothering.
And I'm trying to set the example for my girls as well. Like they have to have boundaries, they have to have structure, they have to take care of themselves first because somebody is always going to need something of you.
Uh-huh.
Your children are going to require a lot. Your partner is going to require something. Your household is going to need something. But you have to take care of you first. And whatever that looks like for you, you need an outlet for
Right.
your mental health, your emotional well being, your physical well being. You need that.
Awesome. I love that. You said you give yourself 2 hours
Mhm.
to get ready for bed. Okay. Have there ever been any moments where your health has had to take the back seat of some other responsibility in your life and you see the effects of doing that and how you had to reset?
Yes, I'm in reset mode right now. I'm in
Okay.
reset mode right now because when I first I moved to Northern California in 2020.
Mhm.
And when I moved there, I only knew one person and I didn't have a car. I didn't want a car. I wanted to do public transportation and so on and so forth. I wanted to keep things to a minimum, my personal financial goals.
Mhm.
And so I sacrificed. So I wasn't able to get to a gym.
Mhm.
I wasn't able
Mm.
to go work out on a regular basis because I was taking public transportation. I was commuting. It took me almost 2 hours to get to work in the mornings on
Oh
public
wow.
transportation. Mhm. And then coming back home in the evenings, I wouldn't get home until late. So I used to try to do workouts at home, which I found kind of difficult because I was never that home workout type person.
Mm.
And I didn't push myself or challenge
Mm.
myself in those late evenings because I still needed to go to bed by a certain time, be up in the morning
Right.
to do my commute. So over the past 3 years, not only has the weight come on, I have noticed that there's been a hormonal shift.
That's that age.
Yeah, being that mature age. So I'm in reset mode right now. That's
Okay.
why I searched out when I lived here before. I had a personal trainer.
Mhm.
Well, he wasn't a personal trainer. He had a CrossFit gym,
Okay.
um, which has now closed, and so he's training me
Okay.
one on one now. I'm very intentional because I know my body cannot, my knees feel better since I've been in reset mode. And mind you, this is the fifth week
Mm,
of us working out. And I can already see a difference. I can feel a difference. And he gives me functional exercises, like
good.
being able to go down to the ground and get back up without holding on to things,
Right.
sitting down in a chair and getting myself back up without, leaning or holding on to something.
That's
I
important.
enjoy that. It is because if I fell, how would I get up? I would have to get up. I really appreciate that about him. Um, in his understanding that I am a mature age and giving me those exercises. And he gives me homework, and sometimes I do my homework, sometimes I don't. But I make those training sessions 3 times a week.
Now, being that you understand how important strength training is as we age, have you been able to express that to your aunt, uncle, and mother? And are they doing any kind of strength training themselves?
I hope my mom doesn't see this video. I've been stressing to my mother forever, the importance of keeping that muscle tone going, of being more active, even if you just take a walk.
Mm-hmm.
So my mother she'll be 77 in April. Her sister, my aunt, will be 78. When I tell you, aunt understands the importance of keeping active, and movement. My aunt does yoga prior to her surgery. Before I got here, she would do yoga. She would take walks. She believed in continuing to be active. My mother, on the other, believes in her bag of medicine, which is so important because a lot of the medicines that she takes, she probably wouldn't have to take if she became active, if she paid attention to the food she ate. And it's sad to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I look at my community, even my community, you know, I see a lot of people with diabetes, high blood pressure, missing limbs,
Yeah.
obese. And I look around and there is nothing healthy, like no healthy food option. We have the Popeyes, we have the Burger Kings, we have the McDonald's, we have the corner stores, the liquor stores. But I have to travel at least 45 minutes just to get to a juice bar.
I know you said that you had that same experience in the community here outside of Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
And there's
Nothing
so many
healthy.
communities like that. We call them the food desert.
Yeah. I mean, there's food available to them, but what kind of food is available to them?
It's not food, it's called consumable products.
I'm gonna
Consumable
have to use that.
products. It's not
Consumable product.
food. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting because I think you know that I helped move my dad here
Mm-hmm.
last in August. And, a lot of the people that I work with online are over 50 for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was a couple of weeks after my dad was here, and I was just like, you know what? I'm helping all of these older people. There's no reason with us living in the same house that you are not
Mm-hmm.
working out, that I can't support you in that. And so I started training my dad, and he trains with me 3 times a week doing strength
Oh
training and
wow.
functional training. Yeah.
That's amazing. How has he enjoyed that? Did he give you any pushback is the first question.
No, no. And I don't know if it's because he saw me online, because now I work in my bedroom office corner or whatever.
Uh-huh.
But I used to be in the office right off of the living room, and he would see me there every other day training clients
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. I don't know if it is a result of that, but I just said, I'm helping everybody else.
I need to help my
I want to
dad.
help you too. And that's I talk about this. That's one of the reasons why I even got into this profession is I started working with a personal trainer.
Mm-hmm.
And when I took my first nutrition course and found out that type 2 diabetes was from the foods we eat, and it wasn't. They say it's hereditary because you will more than likely pass on the tradition or eat the same way
Mm-hmm.
that you grew up eating. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh, I didn't know that," and so I'm like, "Well, I have family members that have diabetes, that are obese, heart
Mm-hmm.
disease, and all of that, and I wanted to help my family, so I know that there are sometimes we aren't the best people or person to help our families, but just really educating them on that is really
Mm-hmm.
helpful." and I've come to the point where people have to, there's the information is out there. I can do what I can do, but then people have to make the decision and choice for their lives, and you just have to accept it and say, I did my part. It's not like I can
Mhm.
force feed food down you or
Yeah.
force you to do anything that you don't want to do. I can
Mhm.
educate you and then just say, okay, well, you will get the results of the decisions that you make.
Like,
And as long
yeah.
as I did my part, I could feel good about it, you know?
And one thing I can say about my mom, she has been requesting a fresh juice, a beet juice. So I think I'll start juicing for her again because that was a part of my
Mm-hmm.
nutrition as well, nutrition goals. So I will start juicing for her and maybe we'll take a walk a couple of days a week, try to encourage her to go walking. Yeah. But she used to do yoga. Like she'll start something and then once it gets too hard or once something
Mm.
happens, it just falls to the wayside. Like when she started her yoga class, her free yoga class at the community park, she brought everything. She even brought workout gear, tennis shoes. She looked good going. She looked really cute in her tights and her tennies and she had her yoga bag and and then I think that lasted like all of 2 weeks.
Mm.
And those things are now in storage.
Mm.
She has the little pedals where
Mm-hmm.
you can sit and move your. She doesn't use it.
Sometimes people just need a little push, a little motivation. Maybe you can sit there and do your feet and then, you want to try it? I even told my dad, I was like, look, there's no reason why you should not get up and walk around the block 2 times every day. That's it. Just walk around the block. So now he's got to the point. I walk to the water every day. Most days, because this cold has really gotten me, but anyway,
Hmm.
he's gotten to the point where now he walks to the water, which is a mile.
Okay.
So I'm like, "Okay." And one day he left, and I was like, "Well, where'd you go?" "Oh, I went to the water." It wasn't the plan. I was just planning on going around the block, but I went to the water. I'm like, "Good for you." So, and
Okay.
sometimes he rides his bike. So, yeah, I'm like, "You gotta
Wonderful.
gotta keep moving. Gotta keep
Yeah, you
moving."
gotta keep moving. How old is your dad?
He is 77. He'll be
Okay.
78 in December.
Okay. 1947.
Yep. My mother would have been 78 this past Thursday.
Mm.
Yeah, the March 12th. So
Um, how
maybe I
long
shouldn't have set the date because anyway, what were you gonna say? How long is what?
have you been training your dad?
It's been 7 months, I think. 7 months? Yeah.
So has he expressed like change, feeling better?
Oh, I asked him and I recorded him when I first started,
Hmm.
some of the movements and stuff, and I've seen a difference. He does say he feels better and stronger. Yeah,
Okay.
and I could see it, like, I had him do a wall sit, and the first time I was like, "Okay, 15 seconds." Like, "Oh, dude." It's like, "Oh, I'm not used to this?" So, just different things I've seen improvement, so, yeah.
Yeah. Over the past month of me working with my trainer, like I'm able to go down on one knee and get back up without holding on to anything.
Mm.
When he first did my assessment a month ago, 1 month ago,
Mhm.
he wanted me to do
Mm.
plank jacks. And I looked at him in the plank position like you're crazy. My legs won't move. Now I can do 3 sets of 20.
Look at you. Okay.
I was really impressed with myself because when he asked me to do it, I looked at him like, this is going to be difficult. He was like, get down there and try. And I tried and I knocked it out. I was impressed with myself.
Right, right. Pop that collar. I have a client that I work with, and that was one of the things that she said in a review that she did for me. And she was like, "Oh, it just feels good to be able to kneel down and
Hmm.
look underneath the counter and not have to bounce to get up or hold on to the counter to get up or
Hmm.
whatever." But it's so funny because her husband had a weight set and she worked out in the garage. And I was like, I get excited when I see weights. And I was like, "So whose weight bench is that?" And she was like, "Oh, that's my husband. I'll never be able to use that stuff." I was like, let's wait and see. Now it's just
Hmm.
so funny. She'll be like, she's the only one that uses this stuff now. The
Mm.
bar, she can do everything with the bar. chest
Wow.
press, rows, lunge, everything. So
Everything.
it's really nice when people just are consistent and really see
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. But that's the benefit of having a trainer, because sometimes you won't push yourself to do something that you just automatically think, oh, I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell my clients like, yeah, that's why I'm here. It's like, oh, you have a lot of faith in me. I've seen your progress. I know you can do
Mm-hmm.
it. And then they'll do it
Yeah.
and be like, oh, wow. Okay, I didn't think I could do that. Yeah, that's why I'm
Yeah.
here to push you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
And
progression. It's not like I'm trying to make them do something like, oh, let's do this. It's like, no, you've been working out long enough. You can lift that bar.
yeah.
You're
And
shocked by it.
people
Mm-hmm.
question the amount of money I spend on personal training, but I'm like, I'm gonna spend it on something.
Mm-hmm.
I might as well invest it in myself and my
Absolutely.
longevity because I plan to live until I'm 120. So
Okay.
I want to be here in my right mind with the
Right.
use of my body
Right.
in my garden, saying whatever to whomever.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, that that's what I want to do, be able to do.
Right.
Um, without any assistance. Too
That would
much
be a
assistance.
blessing. And it's
Um,
good that you look at it as an investment in yourself, because you're going
mhm,
to, like you say, you're going to spend the money anyway. So why not invest it in yourself and your longevity? Because if you don't, you might pay even more for those hospital bills and the
exactly.
medication that you might be on as a result of
Exactly.
not taking care of your health. So
Mhm.
it's like, got to look at the investment and
And
the
I-
benefits of it.
and I'm looking at other things. Like I met a 79-year-old woman the other day just at brunch, and we just happened to spark a conversation. And she told me that she swims every day for like 30 minutes consistently. She looks amazing. She was still driving. My mother
Mm,
cannot drive. We have taken my mother's keys. She looks amazing. Skin is clear. She's moving without assistance
mm-hmm.
or without devices.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a very good conversation. I said, that's where I want to be.
Right.
That's where I be. So
Right.
I wanna learn how to swim so I can swim laps.
Okay.
As
Okay. I
I
love
wanna
it.
learn how to swim better.
Okay. I love that. I love that. I'm glad that you learned how to swim. I didn't know until I was at Fisk that there were grown people that didn't know how to swim. I just thought that that was like something that you learned as a kid, you know? I
Mm.
was like, wow, I didn't know that people didn't know how to swim, you know? But
A lot of people
anyway,
don't.
that's great. You said learn how to swim better.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, 'cause I took
All right.
swimming lessons as a kid. Yeah.
Right. Well,
Some of those skills are
let's
still there.
yeah,
But
I want to move into we have two more segments. So, our elevated flow segment,
mm,
elevated flow. When do you feel like you are in your zone, in the flow? Everything is working together. You feel like everything is aligned and you feel at peace and in the flow state.
what is that?
That's what
Like,
it is.
everything moving with ease?
Yes. You're not familiar? What? Oh, you need some of that.
Okay. So, the thing I like about me is that I pivot well.
Hmm.
Move through this life with ease. Like,
Oh, so you were saying it like you didn't know what it was.
because
Like,
I don't, no matter what life throws at me,
mhm,
I'm a chameleon. I can shift. I'm
okay,
able to shift. I've
that's
always
good
said that
quality.
change is always good.
Mhm,
So I embrace change, no matter how it looks, how it comes at me, what hurdles that I have to strive to incorporate that change into my life. I embrace it because
mm,
change only makes me better.
mhm, okay. I love
Some
that.
people resist, you can be resistant, but you're still going to have to change. You're still going
Right,
to have to do it. So,
right.
I mean,
That's the only
we
thing that's
can,
constant. That's one of my favorite sayings. Change is the only thing that's constant.
yeah. And resistance in a lot of instances, like some of the stuff we're dealing with now, is good. We not embracing this type of change. I'm a rest, and when it's time for me to get up, I'm gonna get up. So right now I'm resting and watching and prepping for these changes
Mhm,
that we don't want to occur, but we got to stay ready so we don't have to get ready.
right. Okay, so our last segment is Passing this torch to the next generation. You already talked about what you try to teach your daughters about taking care of themselves and always having someone needing a piece of them and needing something from them. What would you say to the younger generation about taking care of themselves as well as having to pivot to possibly one day become a caregiver to their parent?
Start now.
Mm,
Start now. Start preparing yourself now. Don't wait until the situation occurs. Be ready to step into those roles because one day it's likely to occur. It's more likely than not. So, in order for you to be there for someone else, you have to be in a position physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally to be able to handle those tasks because it can get hard. It will get hard. I watched my brother pass away in 2020. And during that time, I had to care for my mom as well. She wasn't ailing in health, but emotionally, she was drained. And we had to travel to go see him because he lived 4 hours away. And having to be strong for her
mhm.
and for him during that time frame, I had to kind of set my feelings aside, but I had to find other ways to get it out.
Yeah.
So when we would travel to go visit with him, because we would stay in the area for like a month or so, I would take daily walks. I would listen to music, take daily walks. I had to stay active in some way, shape, form, or fashion
Right.
because that was my outlet um in dealing with the situation because I couldn't be broken down in front of her because that was going to make her feel bad. I had to keep
Mhm.
her, my mother, upbeat while we were going through this. Yeah, so you never know when it's going to come, when a situation, when life may happen,
Right. Right.
and you have to be ready to step into the moment and rise to the occasion, no matter how that looks, what it may feel like.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah. Powerful. And with us being at the age that we are, our midlife, a lot more of us are going to be put in those positions. And
Mhm.
I don't know if we're necessarily prepared for that. As a culture, I don't think that
Mm.
we necessarily say, like, oh, you might get to the point where, you're going to have to take care of your parent. I've seen it more often. And even like with my aunt, she stepped in and took care of her mother and her sister. And before my last aunt that she took care of passed away. This is going to lead to my last question. Before she passed away, I started telling my aunt, you need to start thinking about what you're going to do after that because your identity has been that
Mm.
of a caregiver for over 20 years. So now you're going to have to start determining what your identity is going to be. What do you have to
Yeah.
live for? Who do you have to live for? Hopefully
Yeah.
yourself, but you know what I'm saying? Like really
Yeah.
think about that.
I wonder because at different phases of my life, I've had to think about my identity in that aspect when I was no longer a mother. I mean, I was always a mother, but
Mhm.
no longer had those children to care for,
To
no
have the
longer
children. Mhm.
a quote unquote wife, no longer a social worker. Like, who am I at my core? Who
Mm,
am I? And what things do I like to do? What things do I enjoy? Do you know who you are, Rodrika? I had to ask myself those questions.
that's good.
And once I started answering them, I sought out those things that I said I like to do. I'm reading more. I've gotten off of social media just recently, but I've read books. I'm more engaged and tapped into my community, politically engaged, civically engaged.
That's good.
These are some things I didn't know I would enjoy.
Mhm.
Some things I did because it was something that I had always done. But discovering me
Mm,
is the most beautiful part of this experience, discovering
mm.
me, because my likes and dislikes are always changing. Something that I disliked in the past, I love now. Some things I liked in the past, I look at it with scorn, like, "Ooh, you used to do that."
Mm.
So wherever we're forever evolving as
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And I never want to say the words that this is just who I am. No,
That's good.
it's not who I am. If it's an issue, it's not who I am. It's not who I want to be. It's not how I want to show up in the world. I want to be kind, gentle, compassionate, concerned, empathetic, have apathy. I'm a people person and I love people. I love engaging with people. I love talking with people. I never knew it. And that's one thing working in LA County taught me. Like,
Mm.
I love being social. I never knew I was a social butterfly because I was always shy. But put me in the room under the right conditions, yeah, flourish.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I am glad that you are ever evolving and embracing the different changes and embracing the fact that you do well with the pivot. So I have no doubt that whatever else is coming for you is going to be exciting and you're going to embrace it and just excel at it. So, being that you said that you are off of social media, is there a way that people can contact you? Or, website? Are you doing juices? I know at one time you were making juices and all that kind of stuff. Business and under development, anything?
Not at this time. It's a work in progress right now
Okay.
because of the geographical shifts
Okay.
that I've made over the past couple of months.
Yeah.
I'm looking around and seeing what my community needs, and hopefully I can provide
That's awesome.
something.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome.
I
Well, thank
mean,
you, Miss Rodrika, for being on the Elevated Flow podcast. If you want to go deeper, I'm going to ask her those questions that I alluded to earlier in the Patreon community. So join us right after this in the Patreon community for those questions. Is there any ending or closing comments that you want to leave with the audience?
you put me on the spot with that one. I've said all that I could say. For the younger generations, take care of yourself while you're young. Your health starts today. Prioritize yourself and your physical, mental, and emotional well-being so you won't have to get ready later.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you all for joining this episode of the Elevated Flow podcast. Until next time, this is Coach Flo signing off. Remember to find your zone and elevate your flow.